A fourth grader asked their teacher, "Why do I need to learn how to read if AI can read for me?" Right now, 40
Why do I have to learn to read while AI can read it for me? I mean, but how are you gonna type the prompt? So you only know how to do stuff, but by being illiterate? How does that even work? Vanessa Wingard, subscribe. 40% of the kid can read and teachers are quick.
Right now. 18 of them are at a kindergarten level.
Damn. 18? How many total student?
I teach 8th grade
8th grade.
history, and I have 110-ish students. 2 of them are reading on grade level right now. 18 of them are at a kindergarten level. 55 of those students are between a 2nd and 4th grade level. We were doing guided notes, supposed to be a real easy day. It was review. They wrote down Maryland was founded as a safe haven for Catholics.
Okay.
It was on the board. They wrote it down. And before we moved on, I call on a student and I ask, "Hey, where were the Catholics one more time?" And these students, what they do is they look at me and then they look at their notes and then they look at the board. They look back at their notes. And some of them never answered me.
Oh, so even when they see the answer, they don't know how to read. Damn.
They never figured out the answer. It was wild. And I kept giving them hints, like rephrasing the question and saying, like, "It's in your notes. We just wrote it down. We just wrote it down. Where are the Catholics?"
Maryland.
It's on the board. And they never got it. They can't read their own notes. And I don't mean their handwriting. I mean, like,
AI is not only taking our jobs, it's also taking our IQ, and I can feel it, not just a kid. This guy, I can feel it.
they can't make heads or tails of it on the page. These kids have a frightening ability for information to go from their eyes to their hands and not pass through the brain at all. What do we do, y'all? That ship is sailing across the ocean and there is no one at the wheel.
What she described is terrifying. The information goes through their eyes, down through their hands, without passing through their brains. But this isn't an isolated incident. This is nationwide. I looked up the actual numbers. Only 23% of fourth graders can read at a proficient level.
Fourth grader, by fourth grade, you should be able to read. I mean, not super fast, but you should be able to read it.
23%. Then we have the 8th graders, only 26% are reading proficiently. After all the reforms, adding technology into the classrooms, and debating about funding, we're now at 40%. We didn't get better, we made it worse.
Okay, that is true. I don't know who, but somebody said the more money you put into the public system, the worse our public education has gone down. I guess this video kinds of authenticate that.
Teaching since 1993. And yes, we have always had kids who struggle to focus. But what's happening now is on a whole other level. Do you remember how it used to feel when the teacher would pull out the cart with the big TV and the VCR attached? Yeah, not anymore. Now I've got kids asking to skip it. They literally can't just sit and watch.
I'm a 90s kid, so I know exactly what she's talking about. When that rinky-dink TV rolled into the classroom, that was the best day ever. But today's kids are overstimulated.
It was a best day. Every Friday after lunch, we used to get to watch movies, at least when I was a kid, from grade 5 till 7, 5, 6, 7. So 3 years. That was every Friday. We get to watch the movie.
TV is not cutting.
Or some kind of education-related videos.
When we were growing up, they said we watched too many cartoons. Now kids don't even want cartoons. It's not enough stimulation. They get bored.
Yeah, they want TikTok, just like me. How can I judge these kids? Sometimes I am involved in doom scrolling. How can I?
They are growing up watching CoComelon and YouTube Shorts. Content.
Yeah, what is this? Scooby Toilet. CoComelon is very, very addictive to kids.
And that's meant at a time. And now we're asking
That's funny. That's funny.
them to sit in a classroom for hours with no screens and no stimulation. Of course, they're going to roam around yelling 6, 7. They're having withdrawal symptoms.
Honey, teaching kids isn't the same anymore. It's just not. Used to be kids would listen to teachers simply because they were teachers. That was the respect of it all. Now, no, honey. I got to keep the kids constantly engaged. Not even just engaged, but almost overstimulated. The candy isn't even working anymore. Giving out candy for positive reinforcement doesn't even work anymore. They don't care about that. Girl, I'm using chimpanzee
Because they already have a candy in a home.
Benanini just to get my kids' attention, just so they'll look at me. Hello, hello. Girl, bye. I got kids saying 6, 7 repeatedly. They don't even know how to spell 6, 7.
They don't know how to spell 6, 7?
Catching me doing this mid lecture, just to see if they're paying attention. You watching? Hello, we there? Girl, it's so bad now. It's so bad.
TVs don't work, candy isn't working. The only thing that grabs their attention is TikTok memes.
Yep. Sibiri dum dum.
Chimpanzini bananini. Wah, wah, wah.
You are the smartest species, by the way.
Bananucci, monkey, 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 uchi. Or chimpanzini, cocosini. Wah, wah, wah. Boop, boop, bada,
What,
beep.
this is what they are attracted to. I mean, if I was kid, I would be attracted to this kind of a video as well. Look how aesthetic and attention grabbing it is.
Coconucci, monkey, 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 uchi.
Despite these apps requiring users to be 13, kids are on them way earlier. One study found that a quarter of kids aged 11 to 15 said they use social media to forget about their problems. 17% said they tried to cut back but couldn't. These kids are describing addiction. Gen Z was the first generation to grow up on social media.
Yep, that's true. Not us.
Most depressed, loneliest generation on record. And now Gen Alpha isn't just growing up on social media, they also have generative AI.
That is true. Gen Alpha will be the generation that will be inside the propaganda that's not even real. With being propagandized with generative AI.
Issue. As a substitute teacher, I am encountering a really concerning number of students who truly do not see any value in learning because as one of the 4th and 5th graders that I was teaching the other day asked me, why do I need to know any of this if a computer or AI can do it for me?
That's a valid question. Gary V said the exactly same thing.
All these Department of Educations, all these, so many teachers I'm hearing from realize this can help. The creativity to ask the questions, the critical thinking that goes to asking ChatGPT is so powerful.
Why students have to learn history when you can, if you need to know a history, you can just type in a computer and know right away. You are just brain rotting this student. Teach them something useful.
But the archaic thinking, the very basic straight down the path, the not realizing that no 4 or 5 people on a board or decision makers are going to stop fucking technology. The antiquated thinking that you have of the way you grew up is not going to stop. I just don't understand this shit. I'm so pumped to see this headline because every other headline or every other conversation in the halls of education, this is so bad. This is so bad. We fear technology, and technology just runs right through us. Everything's bad, and then it's normalized. Enough. These kids are lucky to have this.
But I don't know what is useful. Like only mathematics and that is it?
Girl didn't want to learn how to read because why would she need to when she could have the computer read it to her? Or when she could just take a picture of her math problem and have the AI do it for her. This is a legitimate issue.
Children do not have fully developed reasoning abilities. Their brains just aren't developed. We can just take a look at the subreddit Kids Are Stupid to see proof that kids do not think long term. They don't have the mental capacity to fully think through their actions. So how is a teacher supposed to convince a student to learn how to read when that student believes that the AI can just read for them? How do they convince them to learn to write when they can talk to ChatGPT and it'll write for them? Spelling, why bother? Grammar, who cares? History, civics, critical thinking. The AI has all the answers. And all a child sees is a path of least resistance. They don't understand
AI have all the answers. ChatGPT have all the answers.
that to struggle is to learn and to grow.
What are you doing?
GPT.
I know, but what are you
ChatGPT?
doing?
I'm doing school.
You're doing school on ChatGPT.
Mm-hmm.
How old are you?
3.
Are you allowed to go to school when you are 3?
And what are these children hearing from the adults about AI? AI is going to change everything. AI makes you so much more efficient. AI can do it for you. Why would a child invest in learning when every adult around them is saying that machines will do it better? We're creating learned helplessness at scale.
I'm going to start with saying that teachers are not afraid of AI because we hate technology. We are scared because we are watching critical thinking disappear in real time. When I was in high school,
That
my
is
math
true.
teachers would say,
That is true.
you got to know how to do this because you're not going to have a calculator in your pocket. Well, guess what? I have a calculator in my pocket at all times. But what I've realized is that it's not a fair comparison because calculators replace computation after we learned how math worked. AI shows up before students ever learn how to think through a problem. What we are witnessing is that students are now incapable.
Do you know what she's trying to say is before at least you would learn a critical how to think and how to solve a problem and leave you in a market and just face a problem and try to find a way with the things you learned and try to solve a problem. It does not necessarily have to be how you studied. Is it relevant what you studied in school and college? But you've learned mathematics, you've known science, you know moral science, how to behave and this and that. So that you can come up with ideas because your brain is trained in such a way to solve mathematics problem. No matter how difficult problem there are in life, you will figure out a way to solve it.
People think that when they take math in school, there's the common response like, I will never need to use this for the rest of my life, as they learn trig identities or the Pythagorean theorem or whatever it is that we all remember learning, feeling pretty sure it's never going to show up again. But that misses something important. It misses the fact that the act of learning how to do the math establishes a new kind of brain wiring in your mind. A kind of problem-solving brain wiring. So it's not about what you learned, it's about what methods, tools, and tactics you had to develop in order to solve the problem that you may never see again for the rest of your life, but you will see other problems where these methods and tools will become immensely valuable to you.
There was a case, at least till now. Now what's happening is they don't even want to learn mathematics, science, and even forget about that, even to read and write. That's very big issue. Just a very simple, who in the world would try to learn how to cook or how to cut a vegetable or a meat or learn a parts of a meat and what temperature to cook it when with the press of a button within 10 to 15 minutes food will be in your door for free all the time? Who would not? That's what exactly is happening in school.
Intellectual discomfort, and that's concerning.
This is what people miss when they compare AI to calculators. It's not just math, it's literally every subject, including thinking itself. And we now have more research on AI and cognition. Students who use AI show weaker reasoning skills. They accept answers without questioning them. Researchers call it cognitive offloading. They develop this pattern of generating first and thinking later, or
Yep, that's what exactly is happening.
really generating first and not thinking at all. And the scary part is these studies are showing cognitive decline in adults, people with fully developed brains. If AI is doing this to adults, then what is it doing to a brain that's still forming? Teachers are responding to the overuse of AI by removing Chromebooks and iPads from the classroom. They're going back to pencil and paper, the method that we've used for hundreds of years because it actually works. But I want to discuss who's actually incentivized to have AI in the classrooms. We already know what social media was designed to do, and we know the future design because Mark Zuckerberg has been quite open about that. He thinks AI can fill the gaps in your friendships. He's exploiting the loneliness caused by his own apps. Then there's Noam Shazir.
Not convinced. Absolutely not convinced.
He's the founder of Character AI. In an interview, Shazir said, "I joke that we're not going to replace Google, we're going to replace your mom." He wants his AI chatbot to replace mothers, the person who's supposed to guide you, help you make decisions, and
I think he unintentionally defined what creepiness is.
provide you with life advice. He would rather his chatbot do that. And then there's Sam Altman. There's always a Sam Altman quote because the man has never received a podcast invitation that he could turn down.
People talk about the most personal shit in in their lives to ChatGPT. Young people especially like use it as a therapist, a life coach, having these relationship problems. What should I do? They don't really make life decisions without asking like ChatGPT what they should do. And it has like the full context on every person in their life and what they've talked about. And
there's young people who just say like, I can't make any decision in my life without telling ChatGPT everything that's going on. It knows me, it knows my friends. I'm gonna do whatever it says.
These CEOs know exactly what they're doing. They're not
That is bad. There's not much difference between ChatGPT and a Google. If you're searching about shoes, a type of a shoes, then all of a sudden in Amazon, when you try to browse things in Amazon, there's a lot of shoes comes into it, or Facebook, right? So whatever you type in ChatGPT, the LLM model and this Kafka, the random thing they pick up things what you typed, it will be spotted by Kafka, and later on attract certain keywords. It will be stored and advertised to certain specific companies so they can sell it to you. You think ChatGPT has been free for so long time, and what they've been attracting $30-40 from few people. That is not going to sustain their data center, which costs them billions of dollars to just to keep up with the demand and make it search and generate emails and stuff. That is not going to sustain them. So one way or another, they are going to commercialize how things are being done. They have to make money, not the one way. The main way is to know everything about you and sell it.
accidentally replacing critical thinking, they're designing for it. They want users dependent on the chatbot for advice, for decision making, for thinking itself, because dependency is a business model. In fact, it translates to $20 a month for ChatGPT. But all of this has a societal cost, and we are paying for it.
I don't get to teach. I spend my day managing behaviors and teaching students how to regulate their emotions. I'm not a
What the hell is even that?
counselor. I'm not.
Yeah, regulating emotions in my time used to be smacking by teachers in hand. They used to get the ruler and they would just do this. Some of the teacher gave a real boxing hookups, like hook.
Not a behavior specialist. I'm a teacher, and most of my job is managing behaviors. I just watched a video of a teacher getting pepper sprayed by their student in the school because they took their phone because it was being used to cheat on a test.
I've seen that video. It was horrible.
She didn't sign up for this. None of them did. Teachers go into the profession with the expectation that they will teach, similar to how their teachers taught them.
Our public schools are no longer safe. For the teachers, a 15-year-old in Houston this year sucker punched his teacher for confiscating his phone after screaming, "Give me my phone. I told you to give me my phone." In Florida, a high school student beat a teacher's aide unconscious for taking his Nintendo Switch. Hitting the teacher? I used to get sent to the principal's office for rolling my eyes. Go online. You can see endless videos of this stuff, of kids threatening and punching teachers. What is this, JetBlue? What have we let our schools turn into? A third of teachers in America say they've been harassed or threatened, and 1 in 7 in this country has been physically attacked. 2023 kicked off with the story of a 6-year-old boy taking a gun to school in Newport News, Virginia, shooting his teacher and then declaring, "I shot that dead."
They didn't realize that they would be managing behaviors because they're not behavioral therapists. But today, that's what the job entails. Severe breakouts, tremors, daily anxiety attacks, crying before work, crying after work, dreading the drive in, bringing work home because there's not enough time to do your job at your
Constantly nervous and buddy in fight to flight mode. Yeah, kids are violent nowadays. They don't forget about teachers. They don't even respect their parents. I mean, we used to hate our teachers too, but at least we used to fear our parents, and we were also kind of a fear of consequences if things go bad. Our parents, we are not doing good. We actually used to fear our parents.
shortages were being reported on back in 1998, but back then it was fewer than 30% of states. Fast forward to today, and it's 86% of school districts that can't fill their positions. 86% is a collapse, not a shortage. 411,000 teaching positions are either empty or filled by someone who isn't fully qualified. As a result of having less staff and more students with behavioral issues, teachers are burning out. In fact, teachers have the highest burnout rates of all industries.
Okay, what is K-12 education? college and university, professional service, government and public policy, retail, healthcare.
44% reporting always or very often feeling burned out. This clip says how it feels going to sleep tonight knowing that I don't have to wake up tomorrow and teach children because I quit my teaching job in the middle of the year. We can go to the comments. What are you doing instead? Asking for me. Currently in class and just letting them talk over me because I'm tired of it already. What do you
Yep. I mean that thing is normal. Talking about teachers. Quitting teaching was the best decision of my life. You won't regret it. What do you do now? I want out of education. Currently in class, I just letting them know over me.
do now? I went out of education. Quitting teaching was the best decision of my life. You won't regret it. This is honestly terrifying seeing how many teachers wanting to quit. Teachers deserve better than this. The comments are filled with teachers who want out or teachers who have already left, and it's the best decision they made. By the way, this video was posted 1 week ago. It has
2.2 and 302 likes. K likes. That's, I don't know how to explain it. That's a lot. That is a lot.
over 2 million views and over 292,000 likes. The algorithm found every burnt out teacher in America.
I live like
guess,
this.
yeah.
So that my students can live like this.
Yeah.
So how can I afford to do this on a teacher's salary? The answer is I can't. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. I am beyond broke.
These are the people that we're losing.
What's the average salary of a teacher? Let me Google it. What's the average salary of a teacher? 50 to 62,000, with Tennessee average being 58,000, and range from low 40s for $20 per hour.
Teachers who are willing to live paycheck to paycheck to nurture the next generation. A survey found nearly 97% of teachers use their own money to buy classroom supplies. Teachers earning
Nearly 97% of it.
between $35,000 to $50,000 are spending $700 out of pocket each school year for kids to have pencils. Critical thinking
But why?
is becoming a class marker who can actually question things. But this is to be expected. For years, education has been systematically devalued, defunded, and deprioritized. But who truly benefits from a population that can't read, can't write, can't think critically, and ask questions? These same tech companies creating these problems are selling the solution. The same government that claims prosperity is defunding schools, while at the same time using
This is the best line offered. I guess this is the conclusion segment. This was the best line. Listen again.
population that can't read, can't write, can't think critically, and ask questions. These same tech companies creating these problems are selling the solution. The same government that claims prosperity is defunding schools, while at the same time using our tax dollars to build yet another AI data center.
It is going to make it very hard for them to keep and maintain any form of employment. On the inverse of this, we're seeing kids in more affluent families being not only pulled out of the public school system and sent to things like Montessori schools, but being pulled away from technology, not given access to anything.
Like always. Like how we did. No technology, not an environment other people cannot read. You need to be able to read.
More than, say, a TV or a video game station until they're a teenager. No tablets, no phones, things like that. And what they're doing to fill their time instead is the normal childhood stuff of playing outside, reading a book, coloring sheets, all of these things that seem like play but are actually building soft skills that make someone much better able to navigate the world around them as they get older. The gap is not going to be who can use AI and who cannot. The gap is not going to be who is an all-star on the ACT with a full ride and who is not. The gap is going to be who can reason in a basic way and who cannot. And those that cannot will probably be left behind.
That is true. Very well said. If you want to get a summary, just watch from here. 97 of the teachers use education has been devaluating. Just this portion, you should be fine. Vanessa Bernard. I subscribed to her, gave a thumbs up. This is really good content. Children do not have fully developed reasoning abilities. To be fair, neither do most adults. That is true. I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want nation of workers, John D. Rockefeller. One day we will look to social media and engagement algorithm the same way we look at lead paint. That is such a good example. I think it will take more time to regulate this than it was for a lead paint, because social media is addiction, lead paint is not. Like there are not a bunch of people, hey, don't take the lead out of a paint, I'm gonna punch your face if you do not. But in terms of a social media generation and this ChatGPT generation, they will be super mad if they're not scrolling TikTok and you're trying to ban them. We are witnessing a collapse of thinking, not just education. Completely agree. Parents need to stop letting phones and iPad raise their kids. The school needs to start holding kids back again. Among the blinds, the one-eyed is king. That is true as well. Very well said. The rich get richer and more powerful, while everyone else gets poorer and dumber. Idiocracy is happening right before our eyes. Getting an AI games during this video is dystopian. Stop giving babies iPad. Damn it. Of course, stop it. One man turned their thinking over to machine into the hope that the world set them free, but that only permitted other men with machine to enslave them. Frank Herbert, 1965. I'm listening to this in a background while getting ready for my very first day in the classroom as a teacher. Pray for me. Giving a kid full access to a smartphone is like giving a kid cigarettes and a lighter. That's a great way to say it. The system is working as the rich elite intended. Uneducated people won't think critically and fight for their rights. I guess there's a reason why the children of the rich is the school where AI tech is banned. Really love this content. Vanessa Wingard, subscribe. 40% of the kid can't read and teachers are quitting.